closer together physically, mentally, in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
These machines, machines of loving grace, as John Markoff calls them, are becoming empathetic to humans. They're knowing you as an individual. They know your patterns, so they probably know you better than your closest spouse. This allows them to do incredible things for humanity. It also has the potential for destroying jobs, for destroying the human element completely. We write about what's happening. We write from a very strong bias in favor of technology, but we cannot with a straight face tell you how this all ends out. And I'll repeat again, I'm 72, I'm out of here, sayonara. You guys take care of it. My generation was originally supposed to give you world peace and a clean earth. We did it. We gave you the PC, we gave you the internet, we gave you social media. Now we're watching the next generation start off with AR and VR. You guys take it from here. You're out to do a better job than we are, and you got less time to do it.
On the AI, on the
It was a good cop out, though, wasn't it?
It was.
on the AI question, there's a company in Illinois called Agrible that grows virtual crops. So try to explain that to your mom. Hey, I'm working at a startup and they grow virtual crops. Your mom was probably like, "Are you smoking some of the real stuff?" Right? This company could not have existed 3 years ago. When Chris, the founder of it, wrote his thesis paper 20 years ago.
Is that called Farmville?
No. No. What he's really doing is taking the satellite data, the drone data, the farm price data from the government and other data, putting it into an AI system, analyzing it, growing a virtual crop to predict the real crops, the yield or whatever, and then he sells that data back to the farmer and says you need to fertilize your farm a little bit more because you're going to have a higher yield, or switch to grapes because they're more profitable than corn, or whatever it's going to tell them, right? And back 20 years ago, his thesis project, it took 2 years to analyze 1 day's of farm data. Today it takes 3 seconds to do the same thing, right? So you can see the cloud computing, all the computing advantages which our industry has brought us in the last 20 years have really enabled this new kind of company. And I'm seeing lots of companies like that. So there are new jobs, but they're highly skilled jobs. They're jobs you need to have an education for. The glasses are going to help with that a lot. And there's even new jobs that aren't all that high skilled. For instance, last night I played microdosing in VR, the drug. Everybody didn't click on my link, which is on purpose. And they have professional artists who are playing VR during music festivals, and they're displaying the art on all the LED screens around, right? And so that's a new job that didn't exist a year ago, right? So there's going to be, I believe there's going to be millions of new jobs, and here's why. When you're wearing these glasses, you see, and the glasses, the 3D sensor sees a Stella, a Birch bar, a Coca-Cola can, or whatever. That somebody can jump out of that can onto the table, give a performance, right, and then jump back in the can. And that's a new kind of advertising that we're going to expect. And all the biggest brands are calling and starting to work on this. Marriott's working on an augmented hotel already that you're going to walk into. It's going to be like going to Disneyland inside your hotel room, right?
Let's go to questions.
Yeah, so we've got time for 3 questions, and then also our wonderful speakers will be signing and selling books. They're limited quantities, so rush up at the end.
Oh no, we have plenty of quantity.
No, you're not supposed to say that. Is that what
You run fast while you can.
Unlimited quantity?
It's limited because it has our signature on it.
Here's the sales pitch. Why buy a paper book? We're going to sign it, right? And if on the way back we take a flight home and it crashes, you can make 10x on eBay next week.
There's a good chance that I'll die in a
We
mudslide
have a real
home
question.
tomorrow.
Okay, anyway, they've got books for sale. They'll be signing right after this. Question number 1. Yes?
Do we see a big pendulum swing away from social interaction because of a lot of the exhaustion, especially we've seen the last 2 years with like Facebook and a lot of the fake news and like the social sharing?
This is
as far as how
highly
VR
social.
will go.
This is the opposite of what's, go ahead.
This is highly social. If you've been in Altspace VR, you go into a virtual room, you listen to music, so you get down, and you're talking to other people. If you go in a lab or there's several games where you can play paintball against other people, and football, bowling, other things, and these are highly social. They're very addicting and very fun to play with other people. That's the play side. At work, you're going to work with other people in virtual offices with dozens of screens around you. And keep in mind, when you get virtualized screens, it totally changes your work, right? Meta showed me a system where you click on a variable name and code, and it pops up 10 more screens where the code is touched by that variable name, right? You can't do that on a physical one.
When we wrote our first book, Naked Conversations, we kept hearing about how social media was going to isolate people. Since then, we get to travel a lot, and wherever we go, there's somebody that comes up to us and we give a hug. It's happened with someone in the room here.
At least 10 people.
It's an old friend for the first time. Now we're going into an era where what you do in social media you're going to be able to do globally by wearing headsets. And these headsets, you may have a set of chess pieces right there that I see. You're 3,000 miles away, and you can play a move, and I'll see it move over here. I'll see you sitting on the end of that table playing on my set. Over on your side of the world, you'll be playing the same game, seeing the same moves, and seeing an avatar of me sitting across from you. With haptic technology, you'll feel the chess pieces move. You can end up being in a group that's dancing and partying or being all over the world. Zuckerberg called this the most social technology he's ever seen, and I think that there's no hyperbole in that statement.
And of course, Oculus got bought by the #1 social company. Next question. Yes.
Big question I have, which company should we buy stocks?
By NVIDIA, they're powering the whole thing. NVIDIA, N-V-I-D-I-A.
I agree with that.
You won't be the first to find it, unfortunately. He told me a year ago, I took a guess just on his word, basically. I bought it at 27, it's 104 today. So listen to the score. Go ahead, Bob.
Apple.
Apple, yeah.
Apple, Tim Cook is either going to be fired in September because he
Screwed up.
or he's going to go from chump to
Your guess.
genius in 90 minutes. And I believe everybody on Twitter is going to go OMG when they see what's coming. These Apple has 600 engineers working on the 3D sensor alone, and that thing better do some mind-blowing stuff. At CES 4 years ago, we interviewed the company they bought, and he had a sensor up here aimed at a table, and it could tell how hard I was pressing the table. And think about how little movement my finger moves.
Tell them about what you think the iPhone's going to look like this year.
It's going to be a clear piece of glass with a pack on it that you look through and you see Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be the top end model. The other one, we're going to use the 3D sensor to fake a clarity on the glass. And I expect to be blown away.
Do you expect glasses involved in this?
I said that at the beginning. Carl Zeiss is working on optics for the glasses, so I expect to see glasses as well. And they should be around 4 ounces. They should be light. Apple's philosophy is to put a pack down in your pocket of the phone, and the phone is going to display up wirelessly to the glasses. So there's very little compute on the glasses. And I'm wondering, because my friend said, the the phones we've seen in the labs are all clear. That the whole phone's clear. In other words, they've seen ones without packs on them because they have a pack down in the pocket. So God knows what's going to come out. If you think about how little the electronics are in the glasses to run these Lumos optics, it's very, very small computers. This is what the industry is doing right now. Qualcomm just shipped its 10 nanometer chips, and that let ODG go down by 1/3 on their first attempt, and they haven't even had the chips very long. the next classes are gonna be even smaller because they're starting to get so small.
This guy here is waving his hand.
Final question.
So for the third world, there's over what 4 or 5 billion people right now, and a lot of them live on their $2 a day or $1 a day. You know, what's the option for them? How is this technology gonna make them live?
Stay alive. And then let me explain that. Steve Wozniak in 1989 showed me the first dye sublimation color printer in Silicon Valley. It cost $45,000. Today, a $70 printer does a better job than that printer did. He showed me a 400 megabyte RAM disk that also cost $45,000. Today, every phone in here has gigs of memory, right? It's coming, it just will take 5 years.
Right now, there are about 3 billion people, if I have my numbers right, on phones. 20 years ago, there were 400 million people. The changes to the world are enormous. The countries where growth is most significant and therefore the market opportunities are the largest have names like Rwanda and Ethiopia, which we see other than others should. 5 years ago, they were still in computer cafes, and now they have phones that are not so smart. But as time goes on, and it's changing the culture, people are starting to move money around with phones because banks never came, so that's an advantage to some weird thing
Bitcoin.
we were enlightened about this when my editor, this is a true story, Josh Bernoff, who himself is a great writer, said, Shell, this is a great story, but you're dealing with it too shallow, and we're against deadline. Either get better with your story or take it out. So you were the last thing to leave, and I'm very sorry.
About Bitcoin, and I'm starting to hear this from across the industry. When you're in VR, like I play selfie tennis in VR, right? And you play tennis against yourself. So you play tennis, it goes over the net, and then it reverses, and now you have to hit it against yourself. I can see a time when I'm going to get a new Head 2000 racket or something like that offered to me. And I'm going to buy a new tennis racket to play in selfie tennis that will be matched to the real physical racket. So when I go to the real tennis court, I'm playing with the same racket, right? And that racket will let me beat Shell at tennis because all of a sudden my racket has more swing, more juice to it, right? And better control or whatever. I paid $5 for that racket, right? And when you pay $5, you're gonna on the Android side of the fence, you're gonna get Bitcoin. On the Apple side of the fence, you're gonna get Apple Pay, because Apple wants a 30%. So you're gonna see systems to let you buy virtual goods, virtual content, virtual goods for low cost. And that's how we drive on Bitcoin.
Okay, I wrote a book called Billions Rising about the 2.7 billion people on the planet. And what every bit of research we found was that the answer that we think about is we need to help those people, we need to ship them the technology, we need to teach them, etc. We need to feed them. What they're saying is give us access to this, let us do it.
Yeah, the digital.
When they're not dying from starvation, which of course we can help them, but they want to invent stuff. They want to leapfrog us. So that's the biggest promise for the poor people are that we give them a chance to grow faster than we ever do.
Here's another way.
Just one way. The digital divide is now between those who have access and those who do not. Once they have access, they're finding great ways to increase their family wealth.
Yeah. Since I'm the only VR on the block, a lot of kids come to my house and play with my kids. And just a week ago, I saw a 4-year-old girl come into my house, pick up the headset, pick up the controllers, and go to town. She learned how to use the system with 0 instructions. So think about somebody who's never seen a computer before, doesn't understand how to drag a file or copy a file. In VR, that's instantly accessible to everybody. And very complex computing tasks are really fast for people like this. They don't need to learn English. They don't need to learn, language. They just need to grab things like they do in the real life, right? We grab a beer can or move it or drink it, and that's how VR works.
like it's the best thing we can do for the place.
So we've concluded our fireside chat. I think it's one of the best we've ever